Doomsday 3.
We had Doomsday 1.
No question in my mind.
He came from one of the toughest areas of Phoenix, also especially, of course,
Praying for safety and,
got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass the ball. You better get the ball.
I just gotta say, when it comes to former Dallas,
Different.
For sure, they would have thrown it off because
this guy gets off you.
And I go to bed every night like, G man, I promise you that we got a What is up, Cowboys Nation? Mike Tag here. Hopefully you guys are doing good. This is, Kelly and I were talking about kind of texting earlier. This is where these content creators earn their money because, man, there ain't a whole lot to talk about, but we're going to figure it out. We're probably going to need your help in the chat. So make sure you guys hop on board. If you're watching over on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, slide on over to YouTube because that way we can interact with the chat with you, have a good time. Same thing with Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. So make sure you do the subscribe, like, share. Am I forgetting anything, Kelly? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. It's just it's a very, very, very slow time for Cowboys content. There's just not a whole lot out there, and it's the time of season where you're like getting really close to football, at least the training camp portion of it, when you start getting a regular dose of Cowboys news, and right now it's almost like an alcoholic that ran out of alcohol. Kind of going through withdrawals here and don't really know, you're scrounging for anything and, to find Cowboys related. And yet, we still got people turning up the chat. We got James, Vince, Steve, several people popping in the chat already. Looks like we got cuts in here, up to 45 people already. So it looks like Cowboys Nation has the same thirst that we do for Cowboys football. And they decided, you know what, let's come to these two guys and these two guys are about to talk about tonight because certainly they got something interesting for us. And
we got some stuff, and I think Kelly, the cave is growing, and we're getting things going. I mean, you had Des Bryant reaching out to you. We're getting certain, get other opportunities, and one opportunity for you guys now. We were asked by Jackpot.com, which is an affiliate of the Cowboys. Also, the Yankees are partners with them. They want to do a VIP training camp experience. So this is your opportunity for an all-expense paid trip to Oxnard. They give you transportation. They get flight for you and a guest. You got, I think it's two nights, 3 days, whatever it is, 3 days, 2 nights, whatever you got. They're going to treat you like a king, of course. And I want someone from the cave to win it. And all you got to do is click on that link. I'll put it in the comment if you guys haven't already. You go ahead and register. They also have second and third place prizes. So if you don't like the training camp, you're afraid to fly, you can enter it and you can win VIP tours at Frisco or AT&T. I'm not sure which one. And then they're also giving away some jerseys. So it's definitely an opportunity for you guys, man, to get out there, get the juices flowing, a little training camp, maybe get some positivity going on in your life. So definitely you guys want to check that out and register to win that VIP experience. And also, the more registrations, the more people they see flooding their website. They're going to be like, this is the Cowboys Cave effect. This is what Kelly K9 and Mike Tag are doing. We need to get involved with them more. We need to do more promotions. And when they do more promotions, they got to pay the piper. They got to give us some experiences for us to share with our Cowboys Cave family. And that's what we're going to end up doing. So it's definitely a cool opportunity for you guys. So, go out there and register. Did I miss anything, Kelly? Am I a salesman? I feel like Bob Barker.
I think you did a perfect job. And Ultra said, hopefully Kelly can hug Dak after practice. Yeah, I'd run right up to Dak, hug that man. I'd be like, what's up, Dak? That's my dude, man. 36 wins over 3 seasons, man. I owe you a handshake, Dak. You do a great job. You do a great job.
Yeah. Wow. and you know, we're gonna get into Dak, but it's a slow time. And I saw you tweet about something, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if everyone feels like I do. You know, I'm gonna say this: I'm a happily married man, so you know, I'm not getting involved. But my brother and one of my buddies, they're booking a flight up to Nashville, Kelly. And their goal is, they said there's got to be more like this young lady around. What do you
in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Oh man, dude, that shit has been living in my head rent free, man, for like the past 48 hours, man. It's been all over my social media. It's been on my Facebook. It's on my damn Twitter. It's on TikTok. Everywhere I look, they did a remix. They got the song on there.
They got songs.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, man, that shit has got me dying. I keep laughing. I've seen so many memes and gifs, and I saw a deal that said the Miami Dolphins signed Tua's brother Hawk Tua.
Well, I don't know. What I was trying to think, was this the girl that was at the tailgate that was twerking for some Cuss's chicken? I mean, if it is, did we mess up and didn't, you know, talk to her more? We just gave her that pan of chicken after she twerked and just sent her on her way. We might have made a mistake.
We had a chance to go viral and we missed it.
That girl's life's never going to be the same. But I got to give her props for that, because I mean, you know, hey. You know, that's very appreciated. You know, woman thinking like that, you know what I'm saying? You can't hate on it.
No, man, she's definitely she's the most famous person of the time right now. She's going to be basking in her 30 seconds. And from what I've heard, they've been trying to locate this girl and nobody knows who she is. They don't know where to find her. Certainly she's got social media and friends have had to reach out to her and tell her, hey, you're famous right now. And, you know, go look at TikTok, because every other swipe that I go, all I see is Tua. So
now here's the thing. We got our girl who's a Cowboys fan, you know, the famous one from the airplane. That mother effer ain't real.
Yeah.
What's her name? I forgot her name. Tiffany? Is it? I
couldn't tell you. I don't
Well,
even
I've been seeing her on social media. I want to get her on the cave. I'm trying to get her on the cave. But do you think that this young lady could end up being bigger, going viral than that? Because that thing's gone. You know, the plane thing went pretty viral, and I'm sure that girl's making, that woman's Tiffany Gomes. That Gomez.
They're already making. I mean, they literally started to make like merchandise and hats and T-shirts, and there's a remix to the thing. There's a song. They did an AI country song about it, and like, I mean, I don't know, man. Social media is a powerful thing, man. Whenever things start to go, I mean, the fact that you've got her on all platforms, it's not just TikTok. It's circulating around Twitter, it's circulating Instagram, it's on Facebook. There's memes. There's you know, it's pretty crazy, man. You know, it's a powerful thing to go viral. Somebody sees something and they like it and it's funny and it resonates with a lot of people and it just latches on and it grows and it grows. So this thing is certainly growing. You know, and who
I'm going to play it one more time. I want you to watch closely, because I think she literally spit on the guy. Watch near the bottom half of the microphone. We're going to play one more time, then we'll move on to something else.
In bed that makes a man go crazy every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
I think you might be right. I think she might have actually.
It looked like it. I thought it was. I mean, that is about as classic.
That's the kind of breakdown that you're not going to get anywhere else. You're not going to get the. I mean, we're going through the breakdowns. You got the. We're watching film here.
The worst is we're all fathers, and a lot of us are fathers of daughters. I feel
That's
for
somebody's daughter, Mike.
I feel for her father right now. You got to feel for her dad. I mean, he's got to be like, what the hell's going on?
Dude, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine you got a daughter? I got a daughter. Can you imagine jumping on the social media, man, and you got one of your buddies and he's sending you a film? He's sending you a little clip, and it's your daughter doing the Tua on the microphone, and you're just like, oh, no. I mean, He'll never live that down as a father. He's probably out there just like, oh God.
No.
Yeah, it's my daughter.
No, it'll never be the same. So, hey, one other thing, we're gonna get to some Cowboy stuff we want to get in, but yeah, hey man, it's a Thursday. It's kind of like the summer, so this is kind of that chill, relaxed time, man. We see you guys in the chat laughing it up, but we're gonna get into some Cowboys. But I got one thing I gotta address. And Kelly, I know you messaged me and you kind of say, hey man, you know you're gonna allow someone to do this to you. And you guys may know what I'm talking about, but let me play this and then I want to be able to respond.
Everybody loves this man. I love this man. Shoot. Hey, coming from Mike Tag. So Mike Tag wanted me to send his message to you, T. Here we go. Oh shit. He said, oh shit. Tag wanted me to let you know that the Canes coming for Bama this season here in the playoffs. Can I get a response?
You talking about the Hurricanes?
I think he is.
The ones in Florida,
right?
Well, you know what? Listen to what I just said. I said the Hurricanes. They don't do anything fast. There's no hurry in it. You need to think of the Canes like old people with walking canes, right? So that Canes is something different. They're not going to catch up to us. They're not going to be in there. They moving slow, like, because they got walking canes. They ain't hurricanes. So I don't care what Mike Tag is talking about. They need to do it. They stay in the ACC. Quit worrying about what Bama doing and just try to get back on the map, man. So that's all I got for Mike, man. That's all I got for Mike.
Now you're gonna disrespect me, but I love George Teague, defender of the Stars. So, but I'm gonna respond. But I'd be remiss, Kelly. I think we got something in the chat that deserves some attention, and then I'm gonna respond.
What do we got here? Oh, okay. A super chat right here. Chris Warden. Evening, boys. I got nothing about football today, but I wanted to give my man Kelly a shout out for sticking with the diet because personally giving up pizzas, burgers, and Mexican food's a no-go. Man, appreciate that. It has not been easy, man. It's been it's been a journey, man, but I've been sticking with it, man, and seeing some results and stuff. So I'm gonna keep sticking with it, and hopefully come football season, man, I'll be able to get down to where my goal is and then hopefully stick with it and not just completely let it go during the wintertime because that's been the main thing. But, yeah, it's been this is the most self-discipline I've had in a long time right now. I worked out tonight before the show, so I'm allowing myself to have a beer or two. But, yeah, giving up all the foods that I love a ton, man, it's been a little tough. It's been a little tough, but I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you.
No, awesome.
And
yeah,
that $20 is going to go towards tailgate foods and probably going to be some Mexican foods and some greasy sausages and burgers that I'll enjoy come 9/22. Go ahead, Mike. I want to hear the clap back.
Well, here's the thing he's got to understand. I'm going to give him, they got us once, but he never talks about Miami beat them in the Sugar Bowl as well. They're 1-1 against each other. Now, Miami has been the most active team in college football with NIL, transfer portal, and all of that. And I'll say this. We've done so well that we now get jealousy. Jealousy, you hear what I'm saying, from the Oklahoma State coach is so upset. He goes, I wouldn't root for Miami if they were playing the Kremlin, he said. He said that's one of the most tampering, cheating institutions out there in NIL history. That's when you know you're getting shit done. That's when you're putting fear in these other teams. We got the best quarterback in the transfer portal with Cam Ward. We got all the athletes. Miami is going to be back with a vengeance this year. I'm telling you that. I put my money where my mouth is. I bet on them to win the national championship. They're going to get it done. They're going to surprise some people. But I want Bama in the playoffs. Bama's a sinking ship. Nick Saban's gone. We know they're going to be right back down to the bottom where they belong. Georgia owns the SEC. So I get it. Alabama, they talk about the Cowboys. They talk about it. Alabama's going to be riding that pass for a long time because the future ain't looking bright. They're losing players. They don't have Uncle Luke. They don't have all the drug money down in Miami to pay some of these guys and get it in. Alabama don't have that money. They're going to be in trouble. And Teague knows it. I still love him, though. And I told him, when Miami plays Bama in the playoffs, we're going to be sitting side by side. Kelly, if you want to come too, you can see that because I want to see the look on his face.
Listen, man, I said that I'm rooting for. I'm going to root for both teams this year, so that there's a clash in the in the postseason or in a bowl game, something of that nature. Whether it's college playoffs or the bowl game, that would be pretty cool to see, man. But you guys definitely, y'all got yourselves a little budding rivalry here with the Hurricanes and the Bama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, Miami and Canes don't play. I think they should play more. But here, I got to ask you, Kelly, because I see James, I see Steve, and I see some comments about some burnt orange owning the SEC. Highly unlikely, but Kelly, I'd leave that for you because you're more familiar with some of these Texas teams than I am. But highly unlikely, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. They made a run last year. They made it into the college playoffs last year. And they did, they didn't fare too shabby. But they did get beat by, the Washington Huskies, a Pac-12 team, who, those teams literally don't play defense and still were able to beat the Longhorns. And you know what, when I say that, I got to be careful because too much Canberra will come for me when I say things like that. She don't like it when I say that. So I'm going to apologize if she's watching. There's a good chance she may be watching right now. But, I think Texas is going to have their work cut out for them in the SEC. They got a team, though, and they have a lot of great recruits. They've got a quarterback that's coming back that's shown that he is legit. As much as I hate to see it, as much as I hate Texas, I think that they've got a pretty good team this year. But competing in the SEC versus competing in the in the Big 12 is two totally different things, man.
You saw what happened to A&M. A&M
competition is world.
They've done nothing. They've done nothing in the SEC. They've recruited well. I mean, A&M has always been one of the top recruiting teams in the nation, but they can't get it done. When you're dealing in the South, man, you're talking about that southeast part of the country.
Well,
I mean, look, that's where all the talent is, man.
Well, and anytime that you look at, anytime that you switch over to a division that's harder. I mean, look, the Big 12 has always been set up as it's offense. It is heavy on offense, light on defense. It's the opposite in the SEC. I mean, you look at Nebraska, used to have 10, 11-win seasons almost every single year in the Big 12. Then you sent Nebraska left, went to the Big 10 where they play a totally different style of football, play defense. Nebraska hasn't been the same since. I mean, I guarantee you their fan base is wishing they were still in the Big 12 because they're a mid-tier team every single year, mid to low-tier team. I mean, they haven't made a bowl game in I don't know how many years. I mean, not since I've been up here. That's 10 years that I've lived up here. So, I mean, Nebraska's been, moved into the Big 10 and got their heads stomped in. So I think Texas is going to have their work cut out for them for sure.
Yeah, no, it's going to be what I like to call a reality check, and the others are going to get a reality check from the Canes because I'm telling you, look at what they've done in the transfer portal. The only thing that can stop them is their coach.
Texas is loaded. Texas has been loaded every year. Like, I don't know if you watch Texas football, but Texas is loaded every year. They've had 5-star recruits loaded. Their bench has 5-star recruits on it. It's been that way for decades. And Texas hasn't won shit since Vince Young was the quarterback for them, which has been a long, long time. So Texas can be loaded all they want. They fall short of expectations every year. Last year was the first time that they actually did anything and still got beat. So Texas ain't gonna do shit this year.
No, I don't think they're gonna be. Do they play Texas Tech anymore, or is that like over, or do they do any of that, or no? That's done.
We're not. I don't think. I think that they talked about possibility of playing a game. I think in 2025.
Texas got a little scared and took them off the schedule. What a bunch of cowards. It's almost like when Florida did that to Miami. They said, oh, our schedule, we can't play Miami every year. So now we just play them every like 5 or 6 years, and we'll play them for a home series. And we get to open up in the Swamp this year and this season. So we're going to just beat the shit out of them in the Swamp in their own place. I mean, we're like 5.5-point favorites on the road in that dump. So I can't wait for that game to shut these Gators up in the SEC. We'll slap them around, and then we'll continue on the path, and then we'll be in the playoffs, and then we're going to see what happens. And all I got to say is, all you Texas fans, you remember, don't forget the beating that Miami gave you guys in the Cotton Bowl, gave you the worst beating in bowl history. You understand what I just said? We had more penalty yards in the first half than you guys had yards, and we're still beating you by 30. So that's the way it is. So Texas, you're always going to be nothing to Miami. So you don't even get in the conversation. Bama at least beat us. I'll give them that. Bama beat us. Bama went ahead and handled that business when it mattered most. I can't hate on them. But Texas, like my man Kelly said, you guys always choke it away. You can't get nothing done. We've seen the story before. It ain't going to change. The results don't change, just the dates on the calendar. Remember that. I love college football, though. We need to do more college football.
Hey, when college football gets around, man, I'm all about doing some college football. I'm all about doing college football.
No, that's good.
I like me some college football. You know, and I always get a lot of shit. You know, Texas Tech, they never won a national championship. You know, they haven't even sniffed a national championship. We best season they ever had. They got ranked number 2. That was that year we beat Texas back in 2008, which I was there for the Crabtree catch. It's still the best sporting event game that I have ever been a part of was that game. And, you know, not a part of, but there and in attendance, seeing it, rushing the field. That was amazing, man. But
yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
And I'll say this, you know, I'm not sitting there predicting when it'll be a college, you know, in the college playoffs, but I think, you know, Texas Tech, I'm looking this year, probably 9-10 wins, man. Maybe a little bit. Maybe we got a stud running back. He's going to be an NFL running back in Taj Brooks, and they got a 5-star receiver. It's actually, believe it or not, it's our first ever 5-star wide receiver that we've ever had, Micah Hudson. And I think that kid's going to be a star. So looking forward to it, man. We got some talent this year, and it's shaking up with the Big 12, Texas and OU leaving, but we got some new blood coming in, and it'll be fun. Be a good year.
What's even more fun is I got to listen to my man Ultra. This guy has talked shit about the Cowboys not winning. Nothing matters but winning championships. And he's in here defending Texas for not winning shit and just keep saying they're talented. Well, Cowboys are talented too. And what's that got them? You say it's all about championships. I'm holding up 5. I'm holding up 5 for the Canes. So you can say what you want. Rank first, rank second. If you're ranked 20th, if you're ranked 50th, if you ain't won a national title, in your eyes, you're nothing. I've heard you say it over and over. If you're not winning the championship, you're nothing. So that means Texas is nothing. You might not like it, but you will learn to love it, my man Ultra. So you just make sure I want the same intensity on college and on pro. So you guys are overachievers, or what I would say underachievers. I apologize, underachievers, because you guys choke it away every single year, just like you say Dak does in the Cowboys. So just stay consistent with what you got to say.
Oh, that was good shit.
I love when I got a good memory and I remember what these guys say and you can throw it back at them. So, but it's cool. Yeah, and that's true. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and hey, you got to give Michigan, right? They're the team. I know. You know, who's my Falcon? He's our Wolverine guy. I don't know if PJ is. I think PJ's Texas, but you know, it goes through Michigan. Michigan's the team to beat right now, right?
Yeah, for now, and you know, see what they do with the new head coach. You know, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't think they're gonna have the success that they had last year. This year, I mean, they lost a lot, man. And
you know the beauty of it is, Ultra. 2 of my teams suck, but every team you like sucks. Because you like the Yankees, they suck. You like the Cowboys, you say they suck. You like the shitty ass Texas Longhorns, they ain't won shit. How many national titles they got? They suck too. So you can talk about it all you want. I got all fingers are filled with rings for my teams. All fingers. You see that? But seriously, you know, and definitely want to get in the chat. We're having fun. It's all in good fun. But looking at you going to pros, looking at the Cowboys, what I'm thinking is, what's the pulse, you know, the fan base? And now the dust is settled. They signed a couple UFL guys, which they've done, you know, the bargain basement shop, and maybe it works out. I mean, they've pulled a couple Pro Bowlers out of that. So I'm not gonna hate on it, but we've got the team. Have you gotten to a point where you've kind of put the all-in stuff and all the other things behind you, and you kind of now you're looking at the team itself? Because like we talked about last week, Vegas still has them right in the thick of things. Vegas still has them favored in 14 of the 17 games. So there's got to be something with these Cowboys. Could you take the angle of backs against the wall? You got McCarthy on a one-year deal. You got Dak on his last deal. You got some of these guys. So, I mean, really, and for you guys too, what is your feelings now? Are you kind of over it now? You're hyped up and ready for week one? Or you still pissing and moaning about the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I don't there's really not anything more to complain about now than there was, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Really, there's been absolutely no movement. It's been quiet. Nothing's happening. So it's just it's time to roll into training camp, and we're going with the guys that we got. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, there's a season to be played, games to be played, and nobody really knows. Nobody can really predict the future. I mean, we can all sit here and we can say what we think the Cowboys are going to do. We can say what we think they're not going to do. At the end of the day, man, a season still has to be played. 17 games. You got to go out there. You got to play all 17, whether you like your defensive line, whether you're worried about your offensive line. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At this point, it's just about getting ready and trying to make sure that the guys that you do have on the team, that they're ready. That Dak Prescott is ready. He's focused. That Brandon Cooks is ready, that he's focused. That we get a deal for CeeDee Lamb so he can get on the field and start getting his time in, which, I'm not worried about him missing time right now. I think that a deal will be in place by the time training camp hits, and I think he'll be ready to roll when training camp hits. But, the facts are what they are, man. We got who we got. And right now the Cowboys are digging into the UFL again, going to try to grab some guys from the UFL. And it worked out, fairly well for him, I'd say, with Turpin. Turpin was a pretty good find, and now they're going after another guy who I believe, if I remember right, I think I read that he was defensive player of the year in the UFL.
He was. Yeah, I think he was the one that wasn't he the one that Wade Phillips was really talking. I think I could be wrong. I don't know a lot of these
guys. He plays linebacker, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, now they're digging back into their bag of tricks and looking at some guys in the UFL. So, when Jerry said he was all in, he meant all in the UFL. So I mean, we didn't know that. So
they've been the most aggressive in the UFL over the last 3 years.
They've been the most aggressive in the UFL. They're trying to find talent in the UFL. It's the undiscovered football league. And Jerry Jones is all about. He's like Columbus. He's going to discover.
No stone unturned.
No stone unturned. We are all in on UFL talent. So I mean, we'll see how that thing turns out. But like I said, regardless of what happens, you got to be ready to go. And I'm going to be hyped. I don't give a shit. It's Cowboys football, man. I'm going to be hyped. Come week one versus the Cleveland Browns. I don't know about Jerry Jones. He may not be all in, but I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm always going to be all in. I'm not going to, there's no gloom and doom. I'm not sitting here saying, we're screwed and this and that. I'm going to watch this team. I'm going to root for them to win, and I'm going to withhold my judgments until I start actually seeing this team develop, see what kind of nucleus we have, start to get a feel for the team. And then, somebody said earlier in the chat, that it's not really about the regular season. It's about what happens in the postseason. I 100% believe this team is going to be in the postseason. Now, what they'll look like in the postseason is still to be determined. We got a hard schedule, but I think we can learn some things about this team along the way. A lot of people sit there and they'll say, well, we can't, nothing matters until the postseason. Well, I don't think that's true, because I thought last year when I watched this team, I didn't think we were a Super Bowl team watching that team last year. Now, I didn't think we were going to get beat in the first round by Green Bay, but I did not think that team was a Super Bowl team. In fact, I think after the Buffalo Bills games, one of my post-game rants was pump the brakes. I said, pump the brakes, because the things that I saw from this team were just too big of question marks, not being able to stop the run, not being physical enough. The run game just really wasn't going. We didn't have a good enough run game. I did not think last year that we were going to be a team that would compete deep into the playoffs. I was disappointed with how it ended, but, I think you can learn things about your team along the way, and that's what I'll be most excited for, is learning what this team's identity is and how this team differs from last year's team.
Yeah. Well, I got to say this, Kelly. I don't know. You're a father. I'm a father. I got a tear rolling down my eyes You understand? I got a little tear because I'm watching my son absolutely annihilate Ultra in the chat, and it brings a tear to me. It makes me a proud father. I don't know about you. It makes me a proud father. So I don't even have to. It's just
passing of the torch.
No, but and that's where I think, and I there was a comment I didn't get a chance to throw it on there, but I know Rick, hey, don't get hyped about the regular season. It only matters with January, but I think the regular season, to your point, does matter. I think all of us, if we're being honest with ourselves, and I think you're spot on, and I think a lot of us felt that way, is this last year's team, you saw the flaws in regular season. You saw what happened. And, did we think we should beat Green Bay? I think everyone said we should beat Green Bay. I think if you ask to a man, are you going to go to San Francisco and win? We all want to. We would have been hyped to do it, but if you're going to tell me to lay little bread on the line or put a gun to my head, there's no way that we thought we'd beat the 49ers. We just weren't physical enough. We get shredded, in our run defense. So this team wasn't there. So, I'm hoping, to your point, is that with the change in the defensive coordinator, that we can get some discipline, some accountability, from Zimmer more than we got from Quinn. Quinn, I mean, I'm not going to trash the guy. He did a nice job for our defense, but you saw the flaws. And I think with Zimmer, there's going to be a toughness. This team's going to be tough on defense. Look at any defense he's had. They've always been tough, always been a tough team, and he'll get up in your ass, and let you know if he's going to be on the field. He's not going to be up in the booth. So he will get on him if need be. And one of the interesting things that I saw, and we talked about it last week, and maybe these guys are watching our show, these coaches or something, but we were talking about Tank, and could Tank see more time at defensive tackle? And then I think I saw an early depth chart, and they had Tank listed as defensive tackle. Again, I don't think he plays there the whole time, but could you see that as an opportunity, get your best lineman on the field, and in spots, getting Tank at defensive tackle to have Parsons, Sam Williams, or if the kid they drafted, I always mess up his name. I want to say Nealon, but hopefully I'm right.
Yeah, Nealon.
All right, so Nealon, you get one of these guys out there. Now you're putting, and you got Osa. Now you're trying to put a formidable line in maybe it's key situations. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we did talk about that, about the, Tank playing a little bit of D tackle. I think what it is, they're going to have to look at these guys and basically they're going to have to put guys in a position to win. And I think guys are going to have to be a little bit selfless when it comes to this defense. We've talked about, Micah Parsons being a guy that you're going to possibly play a little bit less at defensive end. Maybe that's a possibility. It hasn't been for sure yet, but he may be a guy that may move around a little bit. You know what I mean? And, that may be the same for Tank. We may have to, it's like, hey, listen, all hands on deck. We need guys where we need them. Guys may have to play positions that they might not have played before, what I think? But, it'll be interesting to see in training camp to see if you see Marcus Lawrence getting some snaps at D tackle. If you see Micah Parsons lining up besides just on the edge to rush the passer, right? It'll be interesting to see those things. And then also to see some of the battles play out in terms of the linebackers. They just got this guy from the linebackers. There's quite a few of them. There's quite a few of them. There's the projected starters, but then there's other guys that are back in the waiting, and then there are the wings that are still going to be competing. So there's still a lot to shake out in terms of who's going to play where. So I guess, we'll find out, man, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how Zimmer kind of puts his stamp on this defense.
Yeah, no, I agree. And do you, and in the chat too, they're all yelling at each other. I love the chat. I get distracted because now my man, where was that? Oh, Falk's getting in the action, and now he's piled on Ultra, calling him a bandwagon fan because I guess Ultra was talking about the Wolverines or something. But anyway, with Micah and you guys in the chat, once he gets done yelling at each other, Micah Parsons, he's the enigma because he is athletically and everything. I mean, you got to say, if not one, top 2, top 3 defensive player in the NFL. You could argue one. The thing that you'll say is he fades a little bit down the stretch, but do you think that's too much work at DN? Are you in favor of moving him around? And do you think Zimmer will move him around a little bit to try and keep him fresh and play him off the ball a little bit more than just a DN 95% of the time?
I mean, it's $1 million question right now because, where is Micah Parsons' best value? I mean, right now his best value has been as a pass rusher. Teams look, high and low for guys that can consistently get double-digit sacks because that's what you want, is to put pressure on the quarterback. Problem with Micah Parsons is when we really need him to put pressure on the quarterback. Has he been doing that? And the answer is no. In some of these bigger games, coming late down the stretch in the playoffs, he's been gassed. So, okay, I don't want to take away from the value of 12 sacks and sound like I'm dismissing 12, 13 sacks a year, because there's value in that. But there's also value in when do those sacks come? Because it seems like Micah Parsons kind of piles those up early in the year. I mean, I think in that first game against the Giants, I think he got 3 sacks that game. And then it's like, and then he gets, another 2 against the Jets, and then it just kind of, and then it kind of slows down, and then it's like, oh wow, Parsons hasn't had a sack in 2-3 games, and then then he'll come out and he'll get another few sacks in a game, and it's just, it's we need Parsons to be fresh when it matters the most. We need him to be at his best when it matters the most. So again, I don't want to dismiss the times that he does get sacks, but if he is getting beat up and worn down, which he in his own admission has said that's the case, then I think that he needs to be open-minded, and Zimmer to finding a solution to that. And I think Zimmer needs to look at it and say, hey, what is the best position to put him in to succeed? Because ultimately that's what Zimmer was hired to do, is get the best out of these players. And how to find and get the best out of these players. Yeah, I do think that with Michael Parsons, I do think that some of his best abilities definitely are pass rush, but I do think that it would help keep him fresh if he's not always coming off the edge. And if Nealon turns out to be what they think he can be, then maybe you don't have to always have him off the edge. Maybe you've got, you can switch up. Sometimes Tank moves inside to D tackle. You've got Parsons and Nealon or Sam Williams. You can alternate these guys. You can move Parsons and use him as a chess piece. I mean, he's a very valuable player, and he's got athletic ability like I've never seen before. So I think you can do a lot of things with Parsons. I'm interested in to see that if we get a little bit creative with it. I kind of hope they do.
And I think just because you have him at linebacker, I'm saying rush the passer. I mean, but that way he's off the ball a little bit more. That way he's not, he's coming from all angles. Maybe he's going to rush, maybe he's not. But I think it gives them, an opportunity. Like, I would love to see him up the gut. If you got them D tackles and he's just bam right up the middle, almost shades of Roy Williams when he did that dive. What team was that against? He was on Oklahoma. I forgot the team he did that against, but ended up ripping the quarterback. I think it was Texas. It might have been in the Red River shootout when they embarrassed him. But those are the kind of things that that's what I want to see, stuff like that. So I think they could really use. I think Zimmer could use him as a chess piece, like you said, and just really take advantage of his skill set. But it does require, like in the chat, other guys have to step up, whether it be Nealon, whether it be Sam Williams. I know we've been saying this, for a few years now, right? So Sam Williams, being that guy to step up. Obviously, Tank's got to, he's getting long in the tooth, as they like to say, but I think he's still got some tread left on the tires, and he can still make an impact, and he's well rested. I think he said he was tired, so he's well rested now. He got good extra weeks in the off season to rest up, so he should be tight. And Osa's one of those guys. Again, he kind of starts off fast, and then it seems like he disappears a little bit too. So the defensive line is my worry. Like if people are just saying, hey, that's why, Mike, why are you talking about the line so much? That is my biggest fear, because I think our linebacking core, I think it's going to be pretty damn good. And I think we're going to be downhill. And I think you're going to get Donovan Wilson as well. That's going to be, nosing around at the line of scrimmage. I don't see, I think we're going to tighten up that run defense. I think we're going to tighten up that run defense with the linebackers. What do you think?
I hope so. I'd say the talent, or the potential for talent, better yet, is there. I mean, I know what you're going to get in Kendricks. That's going to be solid play. I think you're going to get, you're going to get some good play out of him. it's just about what you're going to get with some of these other guys. You know, is Damone Clark going to play better under Zimmer than he did with Quinn? Are we going to get a healthy, and are we going to get to see consistent, good play on the field from Overshown? Because I don't want to say he hasn't been consistent. We haven't got a chance to see him, but when I say that, I just mean he made flashes in training camp. He made flashes in preseason. Then obviously he got injured. So is he back to 100%? Is he going to be the guy that we all think that he can be and make that jump here in his essentially his rookie year? Because, last year was a wash. It's called redshirt. So we've got guys like that. And then you've got, some other guys there on the depth chart. You got this guy that they signed from the UFL. What kind of impact will he have? What kind of player will he be? Will he be able to make the transition into the NFL? The Cowboys obviously think they kind of have the recipe there, digging into the UFL and finding out some guys that, have the talent to play at the next level. So how will he transition? So we definitely got some guys back there that I think that can definitely improve on what we had last year and what we saw last year, especially the fact that we were having to play guys that are just not linebackers.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, right? Playing guys that are actually big enough to play that linebacker size, built to play linebacker, and physical enough to, to shed these blocks. So that's what I'm looking forward to most. But yeah, if your linebacker crew is solid, it automatically is going to help your run defense. Because, even if the middle is a little bit weaker than what we'd like it to be, if they bust through on that second level, that's where your linebackers have to be solid and they have to play their gaps and play their assignments and be able to get in there and stuff that run. So if we've got that, then I think that the Cowboys will definitely be better against the run. And we could see, even with maybe not the best of talent on that interior defensive line, we could still see a better result in terms of run blocking.
Yeah. And I'd say, Steven, I'm praying that they bring in some more defensive tackles. I'm not sold on what they've got now.
I think I'm not either.
Yeah. I was hoping, I know he's a little older, but he's always was productive. Calais Campbell went down to Miami. I was hoping the Cowboys would have signed him. I just think they need to, the defensive line, the game's won in the trenches. And I think our offensive line is going to be, I think it's going to be solid. I think it may be a little work in progress, right? Maybe the first few weeks might be a little sketchy and people are going to panic. But I think as they gel together and they play together more, I think they get that continuity. I think they can get better. And that's where I say is, the regular season, it does matter. And but I think what the Cowboys need, and maybe this schedule will help that, is they need some dogfights. Think about the games that they had. They had a lot of blowout wins. They had a lot of blowout losses. The only game that I could think of, right, Detroit was kind of a back and forth kind of game. Miami was kind of a back and forth kind of game. I'm sure there was a couple others, so go ahead and correct me in the chat if you want, but there wasn't a whole lot. Most of the games were pretty either comfortably winning in the fourth quarter or comfortably getting your ass whooped in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And I think they need to be battle tested more, right? That makes you better, the grind. And I think maybe with the schedule they got, maybe they're going to be a little bit more battle tested. And you don't have to be the number one seed. It's great to be the number one seed in the playoffs, but you don't necessarily have to be. We've seen it over and over: 6 seeds, 7 seeds, 5 seeds, 4 seeds end up going to the Super Bowl because they're battle tested and they're hot at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about, is playing your best football at the right time.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But hey, before we segue into the next topic, is we talked about our opportunity for you guys. We got 200 people in here, so we got a lot of people since we last said it. VIP training camp experience. You get an opportunity. I put the link in the chat. All you got to do is click on the link. You get a little scratch off thing. It registers you, and you're entered to win a VIP experience. It's over $3,000 value with airfare, hotel, VIP experience tickets, everything that you need in training camp. They kind of give you the dates that you have. The entry date ends July 4th. So it's like a 3 or 4 week, 3 week run, or 2 week run, really, because July 4th is going to be next week, right? Or the week after. So it's a couple week run. So you got a great opportunity to win yourself something. And if you don't win, they have other great prizes that they'll be giving away. So definitely don't miss it. I put the link in the chat. All you got to do is click it and go. And then more importantly, what I need you guys to do is hit that subscribe, like, share, all that kind of good stuff. Like we said, we got a lot of people hanging out with us on X or Twitter. Slide on over to YouTube and hit that subscribe because we got a lot of stuff going on. We've been talking to him. So we got Tony Hill in the works to come back in. We had a great conversation with him, had some technical difficulties. So I said, man, we got to get this thing right because you were dropping too much good stuff for us not to be able to hear it all right. So he's got a great podcast. He's been interviewing a lot of legends, former teammates on Breakfast and the Boys. So you guys make sure you check that out. But he's going to be coming in. And then Preston Pearson, another Super Bowl champion, is going to be coming in the cave. He's got a podcast. He's interviewing a lot of legends. So we're bringing some Super Bowl champions, and we're going to get the mind right. Like we said, Kelly and I, we talked about when the season ended so bad, we said, what could we do to get this mind right? Well, the only way we could do it is bring in Super Bowl champions to kind of let everyone understand what it takes. And maybe hopefully these players are listening of what it takes in the grind to be a Super Bowl champion. So we got a couple more Super Bowl champions that are going to be coming in over the summer. We probably got a couple more. I've been talking to Gogan. I know he's been going on vacation, doing all his wildlife adventures, but we're going to get him back in too. So summer's a slow time, but we're going to try and make it a fun time.
Yeah. We try to kill the time and get our way through training camp, but give some entertainment along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's wrap it up a little bit with kind of what do you guys, this has been going on, the whole, the Trey Lance and Dak Prescott. Now they're talking about a quarterback cap. The NFL is talking about maybe having a quarterback cap because the players' quarterback salaries are just getting too far out of hand. It's funny to me. The owners are the ones that are paying these guys, so they need a cap to protect themselves, I guess. But what would your thoughts be if I said, hey, there's going to be a quarterback cap, and the quarterback cap doesn't count against it's separate from the salary cap? Because that's been the other thing is maybe the quarterbacks, because they eat up so much of the cap space, maybe that should be separate cap, and then you have your regular cap. I mean, does that do anything for you, or is it just kind of ridiculous?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting idea. And, I saw somebody tweet today and I thought it was kind of funny. They said, what if Jerry Jones is actually ahead of the curve and knew that this was coming down the pipeline, and that's why they haven't signed Dak Prescott yet. And I said, well, I don't think that's the case. I don't think if they decided to do it, I don't think it'd go into play this year. It'd probably be next year if they agreed on it. Those things usually take a little bit of time. But, yeah, I do think it's interesting because I do think that there's I do think it's gotten ridiculous. And I keep watching it and I'm going, okay, the way that the quarterback scale just keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, it's outpacing the growth of the salary cap to where the percentage that your quarterback takes up of your salary cap just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So it's like, okay, 15% of your cap's going to your quarterback. Now it's, 18%. Now it's 20%. Now it's 25% of your cap. And it's outpacing the growth of the cap. So something has to get done, whether that's that they put a cap on these quarterbacks and they say, hey, listen, you guys, this is it. Like this is your max deal. Like this is the max, kind of how the NBA has a max deal. You get the max deal, right? Your super max or whatever the hell that is. But yeah, I think that they definitely got to do something to alleviate some of that pressure. I think it's a great idea, honestly.
Yeah.
And Falcon said something about maybe doing a positional cap, to where it's like each position, it has a cap on it. And, maybe that cap increases, a certain percentage every year and they have to, but the thing is you got to get the players to agree on that. So a positional cap, you'd have to get everybody to agree on that. I think a quarterback cap probably is a little bit easier to manage and to do, just because, you're talking about just one position and not all of the positions on the field. So I think it's a good idea. And I think, obviously if they did that though, then what are all these Cowboys, couch quarterbacks, what are they going to bitch about now if they don't have that to bitch about? So they is if they can't complain about how much Dak Prescott's getting paid and, you know, not delivering in this or the way, we can't pay Dak Prescott that much, $60 million a year, so much against the salary cap, you know. That's what all I've been hearing is obviously we can't pay Dak Prescott $60 million. And then, I mean, you know, get a totally different salary cap and then change that shit, and then they won't have anything to bitch. They'll still find something to bitch about.
They always will find that the hard thing. And I just shout out to James Sanchez. He's new to the channel and the chat, and you know, Cuts turned him on to the show. So definitely that's Cuts' boss man. So, you know, James, hopefully you treat my man Cuts good, because he's been very good to the Cowboys cave. You know, you see some Cuts behind Kelly and I mean, he's very good to us. And he does great, you know, great work. I'm sure he works hard in his job, and then he works hard making them cuts. I know that for a fact. So definitely appreciate you hopping in and Cuts for turning. You know, we like when you guys turn some people on to the Cowboys cave. It's always good. The only thing, the cap goes against everything I believe, and so, you know, I believe in, if someone wants to pay you to do a job, they should pay you as much as they want, and you should be able to make as much as you want. So that's the only part that kind of gets me a little bit. I've never been a fan of the cap, but I guess I kind of get it. I think the caps are just there to protect the owners from themselves, because the owners are the ones that continue to pay these quarterbacks more and more above and beyond. And look what happened. It goes cyclical. Look what happened to the running backs. There was a time in the 90s where the running backs were paid more than the quarterbacks. Yeah. You know, now you're getting receivers weren't paid as much, but now receivers are paid.
Receivers are going through the roof,
or like everything. So I think what could end up happening if they don't control, you know, get their arms wrapped around a little bit from the owner standpoint, I gotta wonder if teams, because college quarterbacks are more prepared than they have ever been now, right? Everyone's running what they call pro style offense. You don't see the wishbone and the triple option that much anymore. I mean, these quarterbacks, that's why you see a lot of these quarterbacks coming in and starting right away, where, remember, it used to be sometime a 2-year process or 3-year process. So you got to wonder if these teams are going to get to a point that we're saying, you know what, we're going to build the system, and we're going to have our quarterback. And then when that quarterback's, we're going to keep drafting a quarterback, and we're just going to keep rotating them, almost like they're doing with running backs now. And you don't pay. I mean, then you're not paying but a rookie deal on it. So something's got to give. Either they got to do the cap, or these owners got to control themselves. But it's a bad situation. It's a bad situation.
I think what they've been doing right now, I mean, honestly, is just kind of kicking the can down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can only refinance your house so many times before it comes back to bite you in the ass. Take out a second mortgage, a third mortgage, and then eventually you're leveraged. I think that's what they've been doing with the quarterback contracts for a while, and I think it's finally starting to kind of catch up to them. And they're like, all right, we've set a pretty shitty precedent. How do we fix it? You know, and I think this is now their solution, which is fine if you do that. But what you have to do is what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to be like, okay, we have to calculate what the cap for the quarterback will be and how much that will rise every year. And then we're going to have to work with the agents to say, all right, listen, your guy's up for contract this year, but, you know, here's where the quarterback cap is at. And, you know, he can only get this much, you know what I mean? This is the new max for your guy. Because honestly, if you did do things like that, I would say if you did do something like that, it would make it a whole lot easier to negotiate contracts for these quarterbacks, and it wouldn't be so difficult, long, drawn out. And, you know, it's either, hey, you either pay your guy because this is what the market is saying he should get. This is what the market is currently set at. This, if you want a franchise guy, this is what he should get. You know, if he's one of the top tiered guys. You know, obviously they could still negotiate with some of the lower tiered guys. They don't have to keep paying them, you know, top to top and each guy, because obviously I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Brock Purdy is going to be a guy who in 2 years, I don't think he's going to be a guy who's going to get a huge deal. I really don't. I don't think that. I think he's been a nice talent for the Niners so far, but I think they built a system around him, kind of like what you're saying. I think they've really built a system around him. And I think that if you start to see more of these younger quarterbacks succeed, like a CJ Stroud did last year with the Texans, you start seeing guys like this that start to succeed and be able to navigate these offenses coming into the NFL, more NFL ready. Like this year, you've got 6 of them drafted in the top 12. Very interested to see what happens with those 6 this year, because if all 6 of those guys do fairly well, or even let's say 50% of them, if 3 of them get their teams, borderline playoffs or almost to the playoffs, I think that goes more to your idea that, these NFL owners can start looking at it and going, you know what? We don't have to pay these quarterbacks that kind of money. Let's go out and get these college quarterbacks because they're like you said, they're more ready to come in and run an NFL style offense. Why am I going to pay this guy $60 million a year if I can get a guy on a rookie contract and then just put all my money in and invest all my money in on the team, build around that guy and build it around a rookie? Because that's honestly the form of success that they've done with a lot of teams. The Niners have done it for several years with a lot of lower paid quarterbacks. You look at the Texans, they're trying to do that right now. They're all in with what they're doing. Went out and grabbed, Stephon Diggs to pair up with an already good offense in Houston. So, you got a lot of teams that are trying to follow that model. And whether it works or not is still be to determine. But
yeah, I love the chat. I'm mesmerized by the chat. I'm excited. These guys make me laugh. But what I wanted to say, and I do love all you guys. I don't know. Did you see this interesting fun fact they did about Dak Prescott and his playoff losses?
No.
So 3 of his losses the defense has allowed over 30 points. So they took the quarterbacks. These are Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and their record when the defense allows 30 points in the playoffs. Tom Brady, 2-3. Aaron Rodgers, 1-5. Drew Brees, 0-3. Joe Montana, 0-3. Brett Favre, 0-7. Peyton Manning, 2-4. John Elway, 0-6, and Ben Roethlisberger, 0-6. So I guess I'm just saying this kind of cements the point of where I know everyone loves to blame Dak for everything. It's a team problem. It's a team problem. It's not one player isn't the reason why these Cowboys have won.
And I think that a lot of people, I feel like, people say, hey, Dak needs to play a little bit better in the playoffs because they've seen some things that have led to. But, just the other day, man, I'm watching that Niners game. And again, I thought that if Dak didn't turn the ball over 2 times, I think we win that game against the Niners. That game we hold them to 19 points. But then you go back and you watch the game and you watch a little bit of the highlights and you think about the Turpin run that could have been if he doesn't run into the kicker. I retweeted that.
I don't know why you did that. It makes me sick. I had to watch it again.
No, it does. But then you think about that and you think about that 3rd and long conversion when the game is close that Diggs didn't go and at least try to disrupt the ball and dislodge the ball from Kittle. I mean, there are plays in the game along the way, but it's like all the focus is always on the quarterback. It's always on Dak because he's a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And a lot of these fans just regurgitate, the ESPN, the Colin Cowherds, these guys that are just, they say things for shock value. They don't even believe those things. You sit there and you can get 30 different opinions in one season about Dak Prescott. You'll get Colin Cowherd telling you 1 minute that he thinks he's an elite guy. The next minute he's a mid-tier. He's not that great, doesn't play well and great. I mean, they switch things up like that. And they do it just to say things, just to say shit. And they're not saying it from an intelligent aspect. They're saying it because they want clicks, they want ratings. They know that the Cowboys drive the eyeballs to the television. But if you step back and if you just step and I've been emotional about things and I've gotten pissed off and I've been but if you take a step back from it and just look at the complete picture of all the playoff games that we've had and look at the performances, Dak has not played terrible. He's not played terrible. He's had some games where he's got off to some slow starts. He's had some games where, yes, he has turned the ball over. But, find me a quarterback that hasn't turned the ball over in the playoffs. The point is when you are not playing your best as a quarterback, is your defense able to carry you? And more often than not, the answer has been no with this Dallas Cowboys defense. They have not been able to hold water. And it, you watch, countless times we've sat here and we've talked about the Chiefs and how that Chiefs defense literally went blow for blow with the Niners and hung in there until Patrick Mahomes started to find his rhythm. And in that second half, that's when he really got it going. And that's when he came out and won the game. If the Cowboys defense could have done that versus Green Bay, if they could have just not gone into the shower, bent over and grabbed their ankles and said, "Give it to me, Daddy," to the Green Bay Packers offense, the Cowboys, we're talking about a different story here because, the Cowboys offense was able to score 30 plus points. So if we could have just held them under 30, you're talking about a totally different outcome here. But the Cowboys defense did not do that. And too often haven't done that. And also, when's the last time, although one of the things that I've looked at a lot too, when's the last time that a quarterback, any playoff quarterback, and I don't know if the statisticians or whoever it is that can look these things up, but name me the last time that a team has won a game where the offense has rushed for less than 50 yards. Because that's our last 3 playoff games. And we rushed for 35, a total of 57 yards in the Niners loss. I mean, if you can't run the ball and you're putting it all on your quarterback, it's just equal.
No, it is.
It's just frustrating to see people just put it all on Dak all the time.
Well, it's funny because, SoCal is in the chat, and I like SoCal, and he doesn't like Dak, and that's fine. But he says he takes he'd take Herbert over him all day, every day. Well, Herbert blew probably, if you're going to put out, if you're going to say Dak blew the playoffs, Herbert had a huge lead and blew a second half lead in the playoffs against the Jaguars. And he's 0-2 against Dak. If you just want to, if you're going to have the same intensity towards Dak when you're talking about he's done nothing, he hasn't won. Herbert's been in one playoff game. How many years has he been in the league? Is he 4 or 5 years now? I don't know how long he's been in the league, but he's been in here for a little while. And he's got one playoff appearance that they were killing the Jaguars and blew a second half lead. And I like Herbert. I think Herbert's a good quarterback. But again, you need more. You need a little bit more. He had the offensive weapons. He had Eckler, who was running the ball really well. Their defense, not so hot. But, it takes a team. Football's the ultimate team sport. Dak deserves his criticism. He deserves his share of it. I've given it to him. But I'm not going to sit here and say the whole thing is on Dak Prescott is the reason the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl. So,
yeah. Well, and Justin Herbert's Justin, I had to look up his postseason stats, but his postseason stats aren't anything mind-blowing. He had, in his one playoff game, he had 273 yards and 1 touchdown.
I think he was under 60% completion percentage, which is in this day and age of football is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, when they needed him to score, he didn't. So he just. I'm not a Justin Herbert. I don't believe he's better than Dak Prescott. I've seen nothing to the contrary to think that. People will sit there and talk about the talent, or the lack thereof. But they drafted a receiver in the first round last year, and also had Keenan Allen, who don't tell me he's not a great talent. Don't tell me Eckler is not a dynamic running back, because he certainly is. The Chargers have had talent around Justin Herbert, and he's done less than Dak Prescott in the same amount of time. Actually, in the same amount of time, Dak Prescott, at least during that same amount of time, had one playoff win. He was 1-1 at this time. Herbert's only gotten his team to the playoff once, and they play in the same division, obviously, with the Kansas City Chiefs. But outside of the Chiefs, they've got the Broncos and the Raiders in that division. You're telling me that they couldn't get a wild card spot? That they have. You look at Dak Prescott. He is yet to be on a team with a losing record.
Herbert's been 2 or 4 years. He's been in a losing record.
Yeah, and Dak yet still has not had a losing record. That's something. In my opinion, that takes something special, because even even if you were, as a fan, to say, well, yeah, the defense did this or the defense did that, which they have not. We have not had a season, not one season, where the defense has completely carried this Dallas Cowboys team. The Dallas Cowboys offense has consistently been a top 5 offense with Dak Prescott at the helm. And that's the reason why they've won as many games as they've won, because they've been able to score and put up points when their defense is lacking, because that defense has lacked way too many times. Yes, they improved under Dan Quinn. Yes, they got better getting the ball back for us, but facts are the facts. The Cowboys have had a top-tiered offense with Dak Prescott at the helm every year he's been the quarterback. And you can't say that about very many quarterbacks. There's not very many quarterbacks in that. In fact, there's not one quarterback in the league that has been drafted 4th round or lower that can say that. There's none of them out there. All these quarterbacks out there right now, besides Purdy, you've got or first round guys that are doing this. You know, you're not finding guys like Dak Prescott, 4th round draft pick, is doing what he's doing. Everybody's just frustrated. Everybody wants to win in the playoffs. I get it. I understand it. But it is definitely not a one-man thing. It's definitely not all on Dak Prescott.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you got yes, and hopefully he was at a tight end, clinic or whatever they were doing. Ferguson was there, or Schoonmaker was there. I don't know if Hendershot was there. I know Schoonmaker was there. Ferguson was there, so that was kind of cool. And Dak showing some of that leadership, talking to the tight ends and this and that. I mean, he's a good dude, and and it's hard pressed. Like I look at these guys, and everyone wants to win, man. I mean, these are professional athletes, man. They all bust their ass all the time to be in the best possible shape to win. And I think we're fans, right? We're gonna hammer these guys. That's what we do. But I don't know. I think the hate that Dak gets is just a little over the not a little. It's way over the top. When I see other quarterbacks get passes like Herbert. It's nothing against Herbert, but the dude's been in the league 4 years. He has 1 playoff appearance, 0 wins, and he's still he's a top 5 quarterback. Oh, he's a top 5 quarterback, and he has nothing to show for it. He has nothing to show for it, and it's just it gets frustrating. But that's the media. The media can portray things any way they want. But anyway, so that's all I got.
I am, yeah. Perfectly said.
Anything else, Kelly, before we wrap it up? I mean, we got 240 in here, which means, guys, you got to hit that like, hit the subscribe. If you're watching over on Twitter, you need to come over to the cave because that's the way you can help us the most. I know there's 200 of you out there on Twitter watching. You got your eyeballs on the channel, man. Help us out. Get over to YouTube. And more importantly, like we said, we do have an opportunity for you guys. If you missed it, they are doing a very cool VIP experience for training camp. Jackpot.com. You can enter to win. I put it in the chat. You guys can see the link. You link it up and go, and you get an all-expense paid trip to Oxnard, California for training camp. You get VIP tickets. You get your room paid for, travel to and from your location, to and from the airport. I mean, you can't ask for a better vacation and make a nice weekend out of it. So definitely, you guys go ahead. I'll put it again in the chat. If you guys are hopping in late, all you got to do is click it and go. It don't cost you nothing. So anyway, what else we got, Kelly? We said we wouldn't do an hour. We said we'd struggle to get an hour, but the chat really helped us. You guys are awesome.
We got an hour with no problem, man. But yeah, you guys make sure y'all enter the contest. Don't miss out on that. Why would you miss out on a chance to go to training camp? You'd be crazy to do that. It's going to cost you nothing. All you got to do is go click the link and follow it and sign up, man. Just enter your email, and it's easy. It's easy. So, and like Mike said again, while you're here, hit the channel, subscribe, like. Got to get those likes. 200. I've yet to see 236 people in here with 236 likes.
Very disappointing.
I mean, guys, it's easy. It's easy. It's not like nobody's asking. It's not like your wife's asking you to take out the trash, do the dishes, or do something crazy. We're just asking you to go to hit the like button. Just go to the show and hit the like button. That's it. That's all we're asking for. And you know what? I can't see that you're going to do it. I'm just hoping that you're going to do it. I'm thinking, you know what? I got confidence in these guys. These guys that are watching, they're my people. And my people are going to go and they're going to hit the like button. They're going to subscribe. They're going to get signed up. But who knows? You know what? Maybe it's just the people in the chat and the rest of them are trolls, but they just don't have they don't have the cojones to come in here and start talking that smack. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe we got a lot of trolls.
It could be, but you guys want to hit the like. You want to hit the alert button because, listen, we're going to have a lot of good stuff going on. It's summertime, so it's going to be tricky. Your boy's going on vacation. I'm sure Kelly's got some plans, so we'll be hitting and missing, but we're going to have some good interviews, and we'll definitely get ready for training camp. And then we're putting a full-court press on, man. The season's going to be hot, and we're going to be here with you guys along for the ride. We got the tailgate party coming up week 3. A lot of people have reached out about, hey, how can I be part of it? How can I go? What do I need to do? You need to show up, first of all. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have cuts. We're going to have Doug. We're going to have a lot of people cooking the food up. And some people, hey, how can I help? What does it cost? we don't like charging. So the way I say is it doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you want to donate and if you want to throw $10 in there, you know, for yourself, for some food and drink, 10, 15, whatever you feel is comfortable. We're never going to turn anybody away. That just helps pay for the food and all that. And we've got a tent we bought last year, so we got that covered. We got the pit, we've got some chairs, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So we got the essentials paid for, but obviously the food and alcohol is never cheap. So we want to make sure you guys are well juiced up before you go into AT&T. So as the season gets closer, we will give an opportunity. We'll have a Venmo or something where you guys can make a, you know, small donation, or you could just show up and say, hey, here's $10, $5, $2, $20, whatever you feel comfortable with, and it'll all go towards the pot. And we've got some great giveaways. We got some cool giveaways. I know Steven's giving away a Sam Williams jersey at the tailgate. I think we got a custom cut that we're going to keep on the under wraps at the tailgate that could potentially be signed by a player and this and that. So we definitely have some things going on. So it's going to be a good time. And more importantly, we want you guys all there. So get there. Have a great time. And it's us against the Ravens, man. You couldn't ask for a better game to go to.
Well, there's our boy SoCal right there. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Say, here you go, $10. So I don't know if you're are you coming out to the tailgate? If so, man, I hope to meet you, man. Yeah. Get you out there. We appreciate that, man. And you know, for anybody in here, for everybody in here, I know I saw that the chat was going crazy tonight, man. And you know what? We may not always agree on everything. We may have some debates. We may go back and forth on this thing, but man, you guys we appreciate every one of y'all, man. And it's at the end of the day, man, it's just football. It's just a debate, man. There is no right or wrong. It's all opinions, man. You guys can feel the way that you want about anybody. You know, it is what it is, man. So I just want to let you guys know that don't ever take anything personal, man. Because sometimes I might get heated. Sometimes Mike might get heated. That's football debate, man. If you can't take football debate like that, man, you have no business in here. And I know when I say that, I know that's, you know, everybody pretty much knows that, but I'm just saying, in case anything is ever said in here, just take it lighthearted, man. You got to let this roll off. We're dudes though, man. That's what we do. We roast each other. We talk shit to each other. And, you know, if you can't take the heat, get up out the kitchen. So yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Hurricane fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. He's Texas Tech and Cowboys. You don't think we take shit? I've been taking shit for a long time, man. My thin is as thick as can be, man. I can take it all day long. Yeah. So, but we like to have fun, man, and we like. Hey, you gotta, like I tell people, man, if you're gonna dish it out, you got to be able to take it. But it's at the end of the day, it's all love, and we love hanging out with you guys. That's why we do it. So make sure on your way out, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. Appreciate everyone. Everybody trying to get everyone on there. Let's see. We will get going. And then we'll let you know. Next week we're good. Week after I will be out of town. But Kelly, if you want to rock this show, grab a co-host or rock solo, whatever you're going to do, it's going to be your house. So
all right.
We'll get it figured out. So all right, you guys take care, man. Have a good evening. Peace out.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.